I mean, the linguistic flourishes are just perfect sometimes, and the offhand comments. I mean, it is. I mean, quite aside from whatever else it is, it's just one of the best written books
It is.
of all time.
Oh, I agree.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is that, in a way, I almost just randomly put the bookmark in with this.
Yeah, you
can
can.
just put the bookmark in on any page,
Yes.
and it'll be a banger.
Yes.
It'll just be a wildly entertaining page,
superb, yes.
with packed with wit. So, Flashman he's not from the absolute aristocracy, but he does come from wealth.
No, his grandfather was a sort of swashbuckling adventurer and made his money in rum and spices and trading, and probably piracy and slaving as well.
Yes.
That then passed to his father, who was a Tory member of Parliament and a drunkard, who managed to fritter away most of the great family fortune, but not before he had married a Plantagenet, proper old aristocracy, good bloodline, to produce Harry Flashman, who had one foot in money and one foot in good old respectable titles. So he's got a good bearing on getting into Victorian society. Not the highest echelon, but he can be received at Vicky's palace.
He is a gentleman.
Yes. Yes,
he crosses that threshold.
Yes,
so those things are available to him.
Yes, just with not quite as much cash as he would like. And over the course of the book, the first book, his father is quietly losing the rest of the family fortune. It sort of sets him up later on, because you may wonder, why is such a coward in the army in the first place? And it's because after getting kicked out of rugby, he thought, a bit of marching up and down, smart uniforms, and chasing after maidens in full dress,
drinking in the mess, playing cards,
and he had no conception that he might actually be sent somewhere. And after his first adventure, you might think, well, why does he stay in? Well, it's basically because he hasn't got any choice, because his father pissed all the money away.
Yes, he doesn't really get on with his father.
No, not really. No, but I mean, it takes a Flashman the senior to deal with Flashman the younger.
Right.
Of course, he does bully his mistress in the bedroom when the old man isn't looking. But that aside, they get on all right.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable. So you really get a flavour for his character within about 5 pages.
Yes.
Gets kicked out of rugby, proceeds to go home, argues with his father. Father leaves. Cooks his father with his father's latest mistress.
Yes.
And then proceeds to basically get ushered off. It's speculated that it's because his father had heard that his own son had a bit of fun with his mistress. And so he just wants him gone and out the house. So he just gives him the money necessary to go to horse guards and find a necessary regiment to take him off his hands.
Of course, these are the days when you had to buy your commission.
Yes.
I mean, it is coming a little bit out of the day where, a doctor or dentist would basically purchase a commission, which is essentially purchasing a pension annuity back in those days. So it's coming a little bit out of that. I mean, this is post Waterloo and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it's now in the age where the army is starting to professionalise a bit, but nevertheless, you still purchase your commission. And so he picks Horse Guards, as he's fairly convinced that that he won't see any action if he joins them.
No. And he's almost right, because it originally seems that things are actually going to be quite cushy for him, because his first destination is not Afghanistan or India or anywhere far out, it's Canterbury. Now, I imagine Canterbury in the Victorian era to be probably one of the most picturesque cities in all of England. I've only been once before, and that's in these times and the state that we're in now, and it was still quite nice. So I can only imagine what it was like.
I can believe that Canterbury in the 1830s was probably the pinnacle of civilization that our species has ever achieved.
Indeed. And so you have him sent to Canterbury to be part of I think it's the 11th Hussars, with Lord Cardigan.
Yes. A man who has no temptation to be anywhere near a battle, and he basically focuses his time on making sure that everybody is smartly turned out.
And all the while, the men are just supposed to apparently not find it amusing that he has a speech impediment.
Yes, a lot of haw-hawing and all that sort of thing.
It's very funny because it's just the W's where the R should be in the text, and it's like, I don't know if that's historical or if George has just decided to give him that as a...
If George MacDonald, I'm sure it is, because it is unnervingly accurate, all these minor details. I mean, everything that like I say, everything that happened in these books is true. It's just that this imaginary character is threaded through the middle of it.
Right. To speak about Flashman's character as well, is that this is a man who, yes, right, so he's a coward, he's a scoundrel, he's a thief, he's a rapist, he's all sorts of things. However, he does have qualities. And one of his qualities that is a very keen one is, for the first thing, he's not stupid.
No.
He's not stupid at all. He's actually quite an intelligent man. But he really knows how to read another person's character, figure out what makes them tick, and basically word his way into getting what he wants with them.
Well, if he perceives you to be of lower social status, he's a frightful bully. That is true.
Yes.
However, if he perceives you to be of use and of higher social status, he will toady and charm like the absolute best of them.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what he does with Cardigan. And so within the first few weeks of even being there, he's already very well liked by most of the people because he's young, he's handsome. There is one particular chap that doesn't get on with him so well.
He's well liked by the sort of well-to-do rah-rah type.
Yes.
He's not really that well thought of by the actual practice men of the company, those who've seen action, because they see him toadying up. But you know, as I'm sure you're about to mention, he gets himself into a spot of bother over a French mistress.
Yes, which, again, totally understandable, entirely understandable. But there's this particular chap there who is, I think he's described as like having like French-Jewish heritage.
Yes.
And so he's not quite... And Flashman just takes his Frenchness and just goes, oh, well, I'm obviously going to take the Frenchman's mistress. And basically manages this within the space of an afternoon. He is just an incomparable womanizer. And his success rate is not 100%.
No.
But probably about 98.
Having read all the books, I can tell you that he has 478 liaisons with the ladies. And he does go through them. But no, he is big and bluff and charming and handsome. So the ladies do take to him quite well. But that again is one of those great mechanisms for moving Flashman around between the various events of the books, because I mean half the time he's escaping a jealous husband.
It's woman trouble,
yes,
constantly, that's moving him about. Yes, this is very true. And so in this case, what happens with the woman trouble is it eventually leads to a duel between him and this other officer. And this is, you get this so much just within this one little duel, exactly how Flashman operates.
Yeah,
because he could die here. You know, in a...
Well, and he was very much aware of that, and he had no intention of letting that be a possibility.
No, but he still was wise enough to save face in front of everyone else, look totally unfazed by it. And another thing as well that is key to his character is the fact that he points out the fact that his face goes flush red whenever he is terrified.
Yes.
And he's terrified a lot.
Yes.
But the thing is that people always mistake it for anger.
Yes.
And so they never actually think he's being cowardly. They just think he's mad and furious. So when he's there, absolutely quivering like Beaker, as he's setting up this duel, red in the face, they all think, oh my goodness, this man's... And he's actually terrified.
So he has a sort of dual cowardice, which is quite useful for this. So, I mean, yes, he is a coward in that he wants nothing bad to happen to him, but he's also deathly afraid of losing social standing and losing reputation. And that in that situation with the duel, I mean, he gets called out, indirectly for having bullied this French mistress of one of the fellow officers, and of course, when he sees that the fellow officer isn't going to make a deal of it, he starts sort of needling him until he gets angry and words are exchanged. And at that point, he can't stop himself, but immediately demanding a duel because he can't be seen to be losing face. He's afraid of that, and then he gets himself into a desperate funk, of course, because oh shit, I've just demanded a duel from somebody who could kill me. So he immediately has to come up with some sort of way of getting himself out of it.
Yeah, he does. And so that's exactly what he does, because he goes to one of his lower subordinates and he basically says, how do you like the sound of £10,000 if you're basically willing to rig the duel and
Yes.
stop him from being able to shoot me.
Palm the shot as you're loading them.
Yes. And I love the way that it's done because you have the night before as well, and you can see Flashman's anxiety just mounting as the night goes on. I don't think he even sleeps that night. It's not until the subordinate just gives him the wink to say, I've done it, that he's finally released of this. Oh God, I'm going to live.
Well, as is classic Flashman, yes, he's so fearful he can't sleep overnight. However, because of that other aspect where he's desperately trying to present a sort of brave and cutting and dash figure, when they come for him in the morning to knock him up, he's made sure he's heard supposedly snoring loudly, and so they exclaim, "Good God, he's fast asleep." He's completely unconcerned, and he affects this thing, which serves him very well later on by the end of the book, of appearing completely unflustered while being completely terrified.
And it's all topped off by the fact that, of course, the other chap fails to shoot him, and then Flashman purposely disposes of his shot, just points away, shoots, and the bullet takes off the top of a bottle.
Yes,
that was just laying in the other chap's bag. And so it looks, but by sheer accident, not only but the fact that actually I'm so precise, I could have killed you if I'd have wanted to. And so it makes him look like an absolute Chad.
And that story sort of does the round in polite society. It even gets mentioned in the House of Commons, where they were discussing, perhaps we should outlaw dueling. And this case was brought up and said, well, look, this is how gentlemen act in these situations, and they acted very honourably.
Yeah, there was a fantastic line somewhere in there, if I remember it, not quite verbatim, where he says something on the guy's very angry at him because Flashman's humiliated him, to be honest with you. And he says, you should have just shot me, sir. And Flashman says something, he just comes out with a great one-liner. He says, sir, I didn't presume to tell you where you were to shoot, so please don't do, for me. And apparently this particular line got all the way to the Duke of Wellington.
Yes.
And he thought it was very amusing.
Yes.
And so, just his status, his renown begins to grow.
Of course, he doesn't pay the toady 10 grand.
No, and that's a fantastic bit. And obviously never had any intention of doing so, because the point is he understands how it works. What are you going to do? Go blab your mouth that you rigged a duel? You've got nothing.
It does come back on the 5th book, though, when he meets up with that character again in front of Disraeli and some other politicals.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of this, isn't there, where, or at least even just within the first novel, where some things that he does that we'll get into later really come back to bite him.
Oh yes,
in quite a horrendous way.
If you enjoyed this piece of premium content from the Lotus Eaters, head to our website where you can find more.